Hey everybody, Kris White with the Emerging Civil War, and I'm out here on the Vicksburg National Military Park land, and we're checking out the surrender site of John C. Pemberton's army here at Vicksburg. That surrender will take place on July 4th, 1863. But the surrender site for most people, or the meeting site between he and Ulysses S. Grant, the Union commander, is probably a site that a lot of people just pass by. In fact, it's today an upright cannon out here along Pemberton Avenue. If we pan over here to the left of the camera, you might be able to see the old visitor center as well as the old superintendent's home. But this is an area that's kind of tucked down in below the Illinois Monument, which I can just see the top of the Pantheon from here. But you might not be able to make out the cannon. You have to really know what you're looking for, but you might be able to see the large tree that's out here. Well, as the siege of Vicksburg wears on, which will eventually be a 47-day siege, John C. Pemberton and his army of 33,000 men are hemmed in off in that direction from where we're standing. They have a 9-ish mile line of fortifications out here at Vicksburg. The Federals under Ulysses S. Grant, 77,000 strong, will be encircling that Confederate army. As time goes on, we have the United States Navy on one side of the city of Vicksburg on the Mississippi River, the United States Army on the other, and Pemberton's men in between. Pemberton is told time and again that Joseph Johnston and his army of relief is supposed to march in from the Jackson, Mississippi area and help to break up the siege. It never happens for Pemberton, and Pemberton has sent message after message, "I'm coming, John, I'm coming," but it never materializes. So as time wears on and the morale of this Confederate army starts to break down, as well as its supply system, a note will be slipped under Pemberton's door in downtown Vicksburg. Something will be said along the lines of, "If you can't feed us, surrender us," signed many soldiers. Pemberton will bring together his division commanders, speak with them, get their take on the situation, and essentially they tell him what the soldiers have just told him, and that is that he needs to surrender this army here. He will send a flag of truce out into between the lines on July 2nd. There's actually a little marker up the road a little ways that says on July 3rd there's a flag of truce out here as well. And when this flag comes out here, Pemberton is going to basically ask for terms of surrender, and Ulysses S. Grant, known as Unconditional Surrender Grant because of Forts Henry and Donelson in 1862, tells him just that. No terms other than unconditional. Well, Pemberton goes back to the drawing board and kind of counteroffers to Grant, and Grant will relent, and he will help to feed rations to the army. He will let some of the officers keep their horses, and he will parole the army here at Vicksburg, the Confederate Army. And on July 4th, 1863, the Confederate Army out here under John C. Pemberton surrenders Ulysses S. Grant. This is the second army that has surrendered to Grant in the U.S. Civil War. A third army in April of 1865, commanded by Robert E. Lee, will also surrender to Ulysses S. Grant. So far, Grant and his campaigns going up against Forts Henry and Donelson, he's captured an army there. He's won Shiloh. He's come down here to Vicksburg, and after months and months and months of campaigning, he has captured his second Confederate army. Grant's star is on the rise, and John Pemberton's is basically going to leave here in disgrace. Pemberton will be a man without a command, will eventually resign his commission in the Confederate Army as a lieutenant general, and to accept another commission in the Confederate Army as a lieutenant colonel. And that is how he will finish off the war. To some, he was a traitor. To some, he was incompetent. But to most Confederates, he was the guy who lost Vicksburg.